You're listening to the Fanalist Podcast. Follow on Twitter at TheFanalystPod.
Welcome to the Fanalist Podcast. I'm Andrew alongside Tyson, and the OKC Thunder are not going to be the team headed to the finals to play the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though that's probably what we expected when they were up 3-1. Tyson, you kind of hopped on the OKC bandwagon during the playoffs. Maybe saying the bandwagon's a little too far. You're actually you're a fan of Russell Westbrook, and you're quite okay with Kevin Durant. How did you feel watching them completely collapse and blow a 3-1 series lead?
It was tough, especially when I had them picked to go to the finals to play Cleveland in 7 games. So when they forced 7 games, I was like, okay, well maybe I can have my pick completely correct. But when they ended up blowing it, it was tough to watch as a fan of OKC, just because they had such a great postseason. The fact that they were able to come back after such a horrible loss in Game 1 to San Antonio and win that series in 6 games, no less. I mean, it's tough to find closure in this season just because of the way it ended. But at the end of the day, not a whole lot of people expected OKC to make it to the conference finals, let alone beating the Warriors in 7 games. So I think overall, it's you gotta take some positives out of it.
Yeah, they kind of had a similar run to the Toronto Raptors. Now, of course, people will give OKC much more credit as they've been here before. They've been contenders for quite a few seasons now, but they had kind of one of those seasons where if you had told them, "Hey, you're going to play Golden State in the Western Finals and lose in 7." At the beginning of the season, most fans would have taken that. And, they want to win a championship. You want to play for that. But you want Durant to stay in OKC. So, Game 7 of a conference final, maybe that's enough. Maybe it isn't. But I want to talk about somebody else's views of this series and who they were hoping would win. How about LeBron James, Tyson? Do you think he wanted to face the Thunder? Or do you think he's quite okay with facing the Golden State Warriors?
100%. I believe he wanted to play Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors to avenge his loss after last season, because this is a team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were not healthy against Golden State last year. It was pretty much LeBron carrying them to 6 games, and I was surprised to see it go 6 games with pretty much him and Dellavedova carrying the team. So I just have a feeling that LeBron was watching last night going, I really want Golden State to win this so I can win an NBA championship against the best possible team.
Now, for sure, he would love to have the exclamation point at the end of the season, beating the greatest regular season team of all time. But I kind of disagree with you. I think when he wants to win championships, and he's had quite a few times where he's made the finals and hasn't won. He's made every finals for the last 6 years. And, he hasn't won all of those. So I think he would have found the Thunder, not as a gimme by any means, but I think the Cavaliers match up much nicer against the Thunder, and they would have been able to take advantage of some of those matchups.
I don't disagree with you there. I think matchup-wise, the Cavaliers definitely would favor the Thunder to win that game, but I'm looking at LeBron specifically as a competitor, and he wants to play the best team he can possibly play so that there aren't any doubts of him and his greatness, really. I think that a win against the Golden State Warriors would mean much more for his legacy in the long run than a win against Kevin Durant, Westbrook, and the OKC Thunder.
I completely agree with that. It will be better for his legacy if he can pull this one off. And, if that's what he wanted, that's what he's going to get. It's going to be Warriors and Cavaliers, best of 7. I see it going maybe all the way. But before we get into that, how do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to match up against the Golden State Warriors while these Splash Bros have just been splashing threes game after game? Clay had that huge game where he set the playoff record, and then Curry, he's always a threat to just go off.
I'm not 100% sure that Curry is 100%. I think he's at least 70%, or pardon me, at most 70%, but still we've seen that it doesn't even really matter if he's completely healthy or not. He's still capable of taking over the game. And we saw that in the last few games against OKC, that even when Golden State looks vulnerable, they're able to come back and beat the team. So I think Cleveland matches up well against Golden State, better than I think OKC did. And the thing is, OKC showed a lot of holes in Golden State's defense. They were able to get a lot of rebounds, more than we've seen any team against Golden State before. So I think Cleveland is going to go into this one confident that they are able to take over Golden State offensively. And defensively, they just need to make sure that they control Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I see this one going 6 games, and I actually believe that Cleveland will win.
You know what? I would have to agree with you. I think I have the Cleveland Cavaliers taking this one in 7. Now, I know
you think that they'll be able to win in Golden State in a Game 7?
I just don't think they're going to have enough time. I think Game 6 is going to be their game to tie this series. I think Golden State's going to win their home games, and I think the Cavs are going to win their home games. We've seen the Cavs be a completely different team home and away, not quite as much as their past opposition, the Raptors, were, but the Cavs have been solid at home, and they can actually take game 3 and 4, maybe even split the 2 games in Golden State, and then you'd have to give Golden State one of those games back in Cleveland. I see this one going right down to the wire, and it's going to be one of those series where I don't quite know if I believe that it's just going to be enough for LeBron James to come out and just take over. I feel like Golden State Warrior Draymond Green is going to have a huge role as being a pest this entire finals.
And the thing is, Durant and Westbrook proved to be a tough test for Golden State for most of the series, but they faltered at the end. And LeBron James is a much different animal than Durant and Westbrook, even just with him alone. I think when he goes down the stretch, he doesn't falter, he gets better. And I think he can shut down Draymond Green defensively if that's the matchup that Cleveland goes with. I think I like Cleveland as a team going into the series more than I do Golden State, just because Golden State looked like they proved to be vulnerable in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, the matchups are going to be quite interesting. As we probably agree, I think Draymond Green is going to have LeBron James as the assignment. I feel like we'll see Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry going head-to-head. Love and Klay Thompson, and even, Barnes and J.R. Smith. It's going to be very X's and O's all the way through, but also it's going to be pretty crazy because you're going to see LeBron James going head-to-head with the unanimous MVP quite a lot as well. It's just going to be a really entertaining series, and I'm going to take the Cavs in 7.
I like that. And the thing is, if the Cavaliers get off to a 3-1 series lead, they're not going to fall like OKC was. If they're able to get to that point, they're going to be able to close it out.
And you know what? There's a great possibility that the Cavs are able to do that because I think they steal one at Oracle, and then heading home, if they're playing well and the threes aren't dropping for Golden State, because they live and die by the 3. Anyone who's watched Warriors basketball knows that, if those just aren't dropping on the road, the Cavs could very quickly be heading back to Oakland with a 3-1 series lead. And I don't see them letting up on that. That's the way that they're going to win in 6, is if they're able to do that. But otherwise, I'll take them in 7. Thanks for tuning into the Fanalist Podcast. I'm Andrew, and you can follow us at TheFanalystPod.